Yo boys, back with another video. Today we're going with the good old fast sub rogue. We did get a little bit more gear, we got some bloody tokens. Finally got the quest for the sparks. I just had to do the renown and stuff like that. Finally, after all this time, got it to be unlocked, so it was able to just get my sparks and bloody token gear pretty much. But this is pretty much going to be your opener almost every time. Um, Usually cheap shots versus some of these aren't even worth doing. It's worth to, you'll lose out on a little bit of damage, but it's definitely worth to just do it open with a kidney like that. So that's why it bleeds early. So you pretty much can just get a Shadow Strike and then a kidney, and then just do your rotation. Also, with having a healer, he's going to have his damage. And then after all of your CC, you're going to be Shadow Windowing. So usually you sap the healer, you blind the healer, and then you can stun the healer. Do all three of those, and you'll see during this video that you're just going to have a plain generic CC rotation. You're going to kidney shot the healer, and then or you can stun the healer. So here I go for the sap. For some reason he stays in combat. I think it's because of his orb that he had out. But usually you're going to stun the healer, and then you're just going to do this generic rotation that is it's very easy, but at the same time, you gotta also be quick, and you need to not use your Shadow Dance until you're doing go. So usually I get combo points, and then I'll do my kidney shot on the healer, and then I'll stun the DK. So here I'm waiting for the kidney. I kidney shot, my guy can push him for fear, and then we can just stun. So here we stun, it looks like this guy actually kites a little bit. We end up getting the fear, so really good fear. We just keep doing our dam rotation, even without Shadow Dance at the end there. We have Blade, so we're just doing max dam. And the greatest thing about this build is you have consistency with this build on your actual dam. So even if, there's situations like that, you'll end up taking them out. So that was just one of the games. We have a few clips here. Two of them are kind of lower rated, and then the other two are a little bit higher, but I had a third game, but I didn't really want to make the video 18 minutes long, and I didn't want to cut it in half. So, in the future, we'll have, a better version of this, but for now, this is pretty much what we got. So usually versus Wrestle Druids, almost as any class in the game, you're gonna go the Druid. You'll obviously flip-flop, so you'll start on this guy, and then you're just gonna swap back and forth. But you want to be going the Druid, whether it's to, you know, get his trinket or to do other things. So here we swap on Fear, swap to the Hunter. Since we have a full stacked flag, we're gonna do a ton of damage. He did have a gap to a turtle, but I guess he thought he could hold. You can't hold versus the Xviano. So we end up taking him out. And again, we're still in a bunch of greens. We're not even anywhere near close best in slots. So you can imagine, once you have all your gear, you're going to be hitting some fat eviscerates. But here's pretty much a better version of the games that you'll be seeing, and this is what you're going to be wanting to do. So usually I'll go in, I'll look for the hunter. If I can find the hunter, great. I sap the hunter, and then I'll swap the sap to the healer. We'll see what happens here. So here we find the hunter. We use our sap macro. We sap the pet, we swap it, and then we're going to swap the sap to the healer. We'll open on this guy with the cheap shot, do a rotation on him. Off that, we can blind. Okay, looks like we resap. Nice resap. He trinkets the resap. At this point, we're just going to kidney shot him. We're going to trinket the trap, and then we're going to blind off the kidney. So that's pretty much just like a ton of CC. You can even restun. Here I think I Shadowy Duel. It looks like he gets the swap before I can Shadowy Duel. But we did get wall and pretty much everything else. So that's pretty much what your ideal opener is going to be versus this. And as you can see, he's going to be pushing in for fear, so we're going to get ready to vanish on the CC. And I know they're going to CC my healer here soon. So anytime my guy's getting CC'd, I'm going to preemptively just run around the corner. So here we get another opener. I'm going to try to sap off of that. We'll see if I get it. Yep, so yeah, anytime your healer fears or you get a sleep or anything, you just gotta keep in mind 6 seconds and then you can get that sap. And you'll see during this video we get a lot of those of sap off fears and sap off just a bunch of things. But here, as you can see, they trap my healer, so I'm literally just in Narnia lining them so they don't get any benefits of their things. So here I'm just getting combo points. Unfortunately, you kind of are energy starred, but here we get a good fear. Again, we're going to do the same thing if possible. We're going to try to sap off it. Looks like he has a bleed on him, so there's no point. That's the bad thing about bleeding the healers is you're not able to sap off it, so it's like he shouldn't really be bleeding him, but it's whatever. Just keep in mind as a healer, never bleed the the off target, especially a healer. So here he gets trapped again. I preemptively line, which basically stops him from doing any type of damage, which is really good for us. He also gets full feared, which again, super good for us because I'm across the map. We have blades, so we're gonna instantly blades to get our full combo points. So your full combo points, kidney, bomb. Off that, we can either cheap shot or we can he's gonna fear. It looks like he runs into the bomb, so we're gonna cheap, and then he can fear. And unfortunately, I won't have vanish to sap, and I don't have my racial, so there's not really any more we can do. At first, I thought the healer was up to the left, but I guess he was way over across the map. So that was because I guess the fear rotation made him go to the left. I don't know. But again, you're just waiting. You get your Shadow Dance up, you get your combo points for a kidney shot, you're going to kidney shot the healer, blind, and then you're going to save your vanish for the blind. So here, kidney shot, cheap shot, we'll do a rotation. We're going to blind, and then off that blind, we're going to vanish sap. So here, rupture, vanish sap, and then we end up taking him out. So that's pretty much how you're going to blind every single time and how you're able to get that. Now, if you're not kidney shotting the healer, then you just need a cheap shot, and it's the same thing. Cheap shot, blind, vanish sap. As long as you just get those 2 or 3, as long as you get 2 seconds of any CC off the thing, like before you blind, it'll count as them out of combat whenever you do. So it's really good. So you're getting just a bunch of CC, and you're getting enough time out of combat. So here we sap, do the same thing. He does end up blade summon, which is unfortunate. We do trinket here. He gets the long range fear, which shouldn't have actually hit me, but it's whatevs. So here we swap. We still have a full set of flags, so we're going to go on the healer with Shadowy Duel, so we can't intervene. Usually you want to use your Shadowy Duel pretty much in the opener. You're kind of just using every CD burst-wise. That's kind of just how it is for everyone, is you just use all your bursts and that's it. Every time this guy uses his shields, we're just going to use one of our vanishes and just cheap shot him off. There's no point of waiting. So if your priest can purge him, that's great, so you don't have to waste the vanish, but usually yeah, you're just gonna do it yourself. So here we go, the healer again. We're gonna blind the warrior here so he can't intervene. Unfortunately, we didn't really get anything there. Again, this is kind of just a gear thing, and then also your sub-rogue is not really meant to kill anything off of cooldowns, so that's just how it is. Sub-rogue is kind of like a dampener, to be honest. You'll win in the dampening just because, you know, eventually they just can't heal your burst. But, like, that's pretty much it. If they're actually good and they use their cooldowns correctly, it's kind of just a long game, and it's up to you to just kind of just do those solid goes. So here we open on the warrior. We're going to vanish here, try to sap. So vanish. Unfortunately, we can't sap because our bleeds are on him. We're going to swap to the healer for a second. We get intervene. As you can see, having those bleeds up is really good because you're going to be keeping up that pressure. But again, you're not going to be able to sap off those situations where you might, you know, have been able to get it. So here we're getting our combo points. We're kind of just spending it. We're disarming on burst. He trinkets the disarm, and you know we need the shadow dance to do anything. So here we step, kidney shot. We're gonna smoke bomb, do our burst on him here, and usually I don't go warriors until until it's high damp, because they're just really unkillable, especially as a sub rogue. So you kind of just you go to whoever you can hit the hardest, you want to go, because if you're applying pressure, you're able to get cooldowns. If you just sit on the warrior at the beginning of the game, it's not going to go too well. So here we're going to try to sap. Unfortunately, again, it's not even worth sapping because he has a bleed on him. See, another situation where having a bleed on the other target is just really bad. Here we Shadowy Duel just to apply more pressure, because obviously the lower he gets, the more scarier it's going to be for them, and that's better for us. So here we have Vanish coming up. Unfortunately, we don't have Shadow Dance, so we're kind of just farming it back up. Again, one of the major issues on his burst, we're just going to disarm it. Basically, every stun or burst, you just want to click disarm. Here, we're vanishing to get the shields off instead of the blind, because again, you cannot wait 30 seconds to do a go, so you have to. I was about to say bruh, because he just ruined my Shadow Dance go. Again, he did. I didn't really. I was just like, okay, whatever. But that kind of ruined that go, because we might have gotten trinket. Here I'm gonna use my. I was gonna use my racial and step sap him, but unfortunately we didn't get it. So we're just gonna save it, and that's kind of where you're saving those racials, is off of CC, because I don't have a vanish, I don't have a shadow dance, you have really nothing. So we're kind of just getting our combo points. We're waiting. We're gonna kidney shot, cheap shot. We're gonna blind the trinket because he's most likely gonna trinket. and then we're not gonna be able to sap most likely. Yeah, no. So we kind of get a lot of cooldowns. We gouge instead just for the extra CC. Our flag's still going. Another mind control that's just terrible because he's already low HP. There's no point in mind controlling there. It's kind of just worthless. But it's whatever. It's not. I don't think I would have killed him anyway, so it is what it is. Again, getting your combo points. He fears. Off this fear, we're gonna try to sap if possible. So here we're gonna use our Shadow Dance. Unfortunately, he somehow stays in combat. That's just how Sub Rogue is a lot of the times. Random people just stay in combat for literally no reason at all. But that's just how it goes. They're literally a sparkle of damage, and they keep in combat for no reason. But it's whatever. We get wall regardless, and we also got trinket. So we're in a good spot right now. We have vanish coming back up as well. We just need a solid fear, and then we're gonna either use our racial or we're gonna vanish and try to sap. Here I vanish. I try to sap here. Because again, any fear or any type of CC, you want to be looking for those saps. So here we're going to Shadowy Duel most likely right as the sap ends. So here we're going to re-cheap shot Shadowy Duel. You could resap, but with how much energy you're going to have, it's not even going to be worth it. It's just worth just going for damage. It's already high enough damp to where you need to just be killing this person. So here we're just doing as much damage as possible. We have Shadow Blades coming back up, but again, we don't have a Shadow Dance in a minute. So he does fear, so here this is where you're going to use your racial, and then you're going to sap. And that's a situation where you win games off your racial. Or you get cooldown. So here we're just going to smoke bomb, my priest kills him. So as you can see, he uses his thing. My smoke bomb allows us to hit one person, and we take him out. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you check out my Patreon below. GG's. Peace, peace.